All right, we're just going to get started right on time here today. Thank you all. Hello, thank you for joining me. I will have about 10 to 15 minutes of slides to go through explaining the coming soon status. So if you want to please use the chat function to submit any questions you might have, I'll be sure to check it as we move through this. But I will also make sure that I answer all of them, and then if you have anything at the end, we can definitely do some additional Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be posted on bbr.net and YouTube as our resource. So let's start off with why. Why coming soon? The VMLS's mission is to provide relevant technology and accurate data to all of its members, and in pursuit of that mission, we wanted to make sure that we are providing you with all the tools you need to meet your clients' needs in an ever-changing marketplace. The adoption of the Clear Cooperation Policy changed the way that listings are able to be publicly promoted prior to entry into the MLS. So a coming soon status was discussed as an industry-wide, it was discussed industry-wide as a way to alleviate some of the limitations that this policy might create. And as we move forward, I do want to stress that a coming soon is not going to be appropriate for every situation, and nor is it intended to be a cure-all. It is just simply another tool being added to your toolbox. To better understand how coming soon will work, first we're going to review the Clear Cooperation Policy. Clear Cooperation Policy states that within 1 business day of marketing a property to the public, the listing broker must submit the listing to the MLS for cooperation with other MLS participants. Public marketing includes, but is not limited to, flyers, displays in windows, yard signs, digital marketing on public-facing websites, brokerage website displays, digital communications marketing, multi-brokerage listing sharing networks, and applications available to the general public. Basically, it requires that listings that are promoted publicly be entered into the MLS within 1 business day. It was implemented to be pro-cooperation and pro-competitive, and to prevent listing agents and brokers from withholding listings from the MLS in order to gain a competitive advantage. It's pro-consumer in that it ensures the buyer's agents have access to the full marketplace and secret marketplaces are eliminated. For example, here's a scenario. You're driving around with a buyer and they see a for sale sign in the yard of a property that wasn't on your scheduled list. You look for more information in the MLS to show the property to your client, but the listing is being withheld from the MLS. This hurts the buyer's agents because they look unprofessional. It hurts the buyers because they're not able to see the full inventory of the market, and it hurts the sellers who might get a lower offer or take longer to sell by not opening it up to the full marketplace. And that's the reasoning behind the Clear Cooperation Policy. But what about sellers that need privacy? There are a number of reasons that a seller would not want their listing in the MLS, and privacy concerns are real, and the Clear Cooperation Policy does not prohibit the listing agent from adhering to their client's wishes. One of the options is the IDX opt-out. When you're entering a listing into the MLS, the listing agent can opt out of IDX distribution. IDX distribution is the export of data to third-party sites via a RETS feed or API. Opting out will keep all the listing information in the MLS, exposing it only to the members of the VMLS. It will not appear on any third-party aggregators or agent websites which display the information via the IDX. So if your client is concerned about seeing their home on Zillow, this is a great option that can share it with our members, share it within the Vail board community, but not export it out to those third-party sites we do export to. The other option is to take it as an office exclusive or an exempt listing. The Clear Cooperation Policy does allow for office exclusives, but it does also change the way how those listings can be promoted. From the VMLS rules, exempted listings, if the seller refuses to permit the listing to be disseminated by the VMLS, they may take the listing, and such listing shall be filed with the VMLS, but not disseminated to its participants. So the Clear Cooperation Policy doesn't prohibit that, but it does limit, again, how they can be promoted. Any public promotion of a exempted listing would trigger that 1 day to entry into the MLS. So in an office exclusive listing, the direct promotion of the listing between the brokers and the licensees within and licensees affiliated with the listing brokerage and one-to-one promotion between these licensees and their clients is not considered public. So another thing that's really important to remember is the difference between a client and a customer. A customer is public, a client is private. So a client, as defined by NAR, means the person or entities with whom a realtor or realtor's firm has an agency or legally recognized non-agency relationship. Again, client is not public. A customer is a party to a real estate transaction who receives information, services, or benefits, but has no contractual obligation with the realtor or a realtor's firm. A customer is considered public. So if you take an office exclusive, you can share it with other licensees affiliated with that office, and they may share it with their clients, and you may share it directly with your clients, but they may not share it with the general public, and neither may you. That would trigger that 1 day. Are there exceptions? The new policy on clear cooperation only covers exclusive listings of property types that require the mandatory submission to the MLS. We can continue operating under our existing local policy, which provides for voluntary submission of different property types like rentals and new construction. If the listing broker has a choice to submit a particular exclusive listing to the MLS, the listing broker is not obligated to submit that listing because it's publicly marketed. So that would apply to your rentals and your new developments, new builds, new commercials, that kind of thing. So now we get to the fun part, coming soon in the VMLS. On September 28th, Coming Soon Status was added to the VMLS. It is defined as a listing status for which a listing agreement has been signed between the broker, agent, and the seller, but the property is not yet ready for sale and will be within 30 days of the seller's signature. The intention of this is to provide a vehicle for participants and subscribers to notify other participants and subscribers of properties that will be made fully available for showing and marketing after preparations have been completed. It is not intended to give listing brokers or agents an advantage in finding a buyer for the property to the detriment of cooperating brokers or to circumvent the selling of the property on the open market. So it's going to be very important to remember this distinction when we discuss the rules. Exhibit E of the VMLS Rules and Regulations, which is available on vbr.net and via hot link in the MLS, outlines the rules in full detail. However, here are some key points. All subscribers, when asked by a seller to enter the property into the MLS as coming soon, shall offer a coming soon information form, which describes the coming soon procedures, rules, and guidelines. This form is intended to be a guide for the conversation so that you can be sure that your clients are aware of the rules and limitations of the coming soon status. You do not have to use this form. There's no signatures required, nor is it required to submit it to me. This is a reference sheet that's supposed to be a tool that can help guide this conversation. Listings must have a start showing date entered into the MLS less than or equal to 30 calendar days. So that when you're entering it in, your start showing date can be up to 30 days. It can be up to 30 days in the coming soon status. After that 30 days, it will automatically go to active. The listing must become active on the start showing date. If it's not ready on the start showing date, the property will have to be withheld in the MLS until it is available for showing. So you can't go back and forth between active and coming soon. The property shall not be shown until the start showing date. Once the start showing date is entered, it can't be extended out. It can be moved up if the property is ready earlier than anticipated. The days on market calculations will begin when a listing moves to active status. And a property address may only be allowed in the coming soon status one time with the same owner unless the property has been off market, expired or canceled at least 90 calendar days or more. A broker may promote the property during the coming soon period for up to 30 calendar days through public facing media only if it is entered in the MLS as a coming soon status. If the listing is entered into the MLS under coming soon, then advertising is permitted on all public-facing media. However, coming soon, no showings until the start showing date must include on any public-facing media advertising. So you have to be very clear if you're publicly promoting a coming soon listing of what the start showing date is. If it is not entered into the MLS and it is publicly promoted, the broker or agent will have 1 day to enter the property into the MLS as per the clear cooperation policy. Also, a couple more points. Subscribers shall not allow showings of the property during the coming soon period. This is in there a couple of times because it's an important one. It's important to remember the coming soon period means that the property is not ready to be active, which means it's not ready to be shown. If it's ready earlier, or if it is, you really want to show this property and you're getting a lot of positive feedback, you can easily switch the listing from coming soon to active and start showing it as it is active. Once it's active again, it cannot go back to coming soon. Finally, the MLS will not distribute any coming soon listings to any broker IDX or third-party syndication websites. You're not going to see any coming soon listings on Zillow. You're not going to see it on Realtor.com. All the other parties we export out our data to, this one stays into the MLS. As I touched on earlier, we do have a seller information form that was created to help explain the VMLS rules to your clients, intended to act as a guide when discussing this option. You're not required to use this form. However, it is important that you have this conversation. You'll see on the next slide, there is an acknowledgement in the MLS when entering a listing as coming soon. You will be asked to confirm that you have discussed the rules and shared this information with your clients. So this is what it will look like when you're entering a coming soon listing. You will move through the general and address tabs as you normally would. And then under the main fields, you'll see that the status option has been added. When coming soon is selected, a start showing date will appear. If the listing is being entered as coming soon, the listing date is the date that it is entered into the MLS. The start showing date is the date it becomes active. If the listing is being entered as just an active listing, the listing date is the date it becomes active. In both situations, the days on market will begin to count when a property is active. Unless withdrawn or activated early by the listing agent, the listing will automatically switch over to active on the start showing date. A couple of frequently asked questions. Can I put a coming soon sign in the yard? Isn't that against the clear cooperation policy? If the property is in the MLS as a coming soon, it can be publicly promoted. Remember, the clear cooperation policy requires it be entered into the MLS with 1 business day of public promotion. If it is a coming soon status, it's in the MLS. My seller wants to change the start showing an active date. Can we do that? The listing date can be moved up, but it cannot be extended from 30 days beyond the listing date. If the seller wants to extend the coming soon period another 30 days after the original start showing date has passed, the start showing date cannot be extended past the original 30 days from the listing date. Once the start showing date comes, the listing must either be inactive in the MLS or withdrawn until it is ready to go active. Again, it's really important that you have these conversations when discussing your marketing strategy with your sellers so that they are aware of the rules and limitations of this status. Can an exempt listing also be a coming soon? No. An office exclusive or an exempt listing is part of the listing agreement where the listing is not to be entered into the MLS. Coming soon is a status for listings that will be active in the MLS. So a listing cannot be simultaneously coming soon to the MLS and being withheld from the MLS. Will coming soon listings be on Zillow, Realtor.com, etc.? No. Only the confidential IDX template, which is the back office feed, will receive coming soon information. It will not be included in any public IDX feeds. My coming soon listing is getting a lot of attention. Can I host a preview? No. The coming soon status is for properties that have been secured with a listing agreement but are not ready to be shown. If you would like to show the property before the scheduled start showing date, it can be moved up and the property switched to active. Showing of a property while in the coming soon status is subject to fines as per Exhibit E. And I want to jump back here. Oh. If you have any questions about the Coming Soon rules and regulations, you see this blue link right here. When you're entering it in, you can click that and review them. That'll just generate a PDF for you of Exhibit E of the rules and regs. Are there any questions I can answer at this time? No? Well, I really appreciate you all taking the time to join me today. As I said, this session is being recorded. I will post it up on vbr.net and share it out in our weekly emails. But if you have any questions about this or any other MLS issues, please feel free to give me a call. My contact is right there on the screen. Thank you again for joining me. I know you're busy, and I really appreciate you taking the time. Have a great day.